Hello everyone, welcome back to Genius Knowledge Point, your one place for practical programming solutions for computer and IT students. I am making this video to provide practical knowledge to all students so that you can develop your own programs which will be helpful for your studies as well as career. In this video we will see practical number 20 of Java programming, which is according to case scheme of Diploma Computer IT students, and semester number is 4. And the topic in this video is program to handle key events and mouse events. So we are going to deal with the events here. So first event that we are going to use is key event. So we have already seen events in the J combo box practical, where we were selecting any value from the J combo box, and according to the selection the message was updating there, that whenever we are making any selection in the combo box, it is having multiple cities and the message was displayed as you are in that particular city according to the selection that made inside the combo box. So this is how the events can be done. So in that practical we have seen item event. So that was generating whenever we are making any selection, like selecting any checkbox, then selection of J combo box values, selection of list. So that was the practical related to item event. So in this practical we are going to use key event and mouse event. So first we will see what is key event. A key event is generated whenever we are performing any action on the keyboard. Whenever we are doing any keyboard input to the system, it is generated as a key event. So whenever we are pressing any key on the keyboard, we are holding the key on the keyboard, or we are releasing the key on the keyboard, that will be generating key event. So that is the concept of key event, and that will be considered as keyboard input. So for that purpose we will move to the first question, which is regarding key event. So the first question is, write a program to generate key event when key is pressed and display key pressed message. So whenever we are pressing any key on the keyboard, we have to display this message, that is key pressed. So this is how the event will be done in this program. So for that purpose we have to use key event classes and the interface that is needed for handling key event, that we will see inside our coding. So directly moving toward the code. So initially I am importing javax.swing package because I am going to use JFrame here and other swing components are used. So for that purpose I am importing this javax.swing package. Then I am importing java.awt.event package. Why it is needed? Because we are going to handle key event here, and for that purpose, or any event handling program, we need this package, that is java.awt.event, because the classes and interfaces are present inside this package. So next I am creating my class definition as public class key demo. So this is the class name. Then extends JFrame. So I am taking properties of JFrame class. So automatically this key demo will become JFrame, but additionally I want the properties of events. So for that purpose I am using interface concept here. So I am using implements keyword here and attaching KeyListener interface after that. So what it will do, it will take the KeyListener interface properties into key demo. So I have two properties here. I have properties from JFrame, so my class will become JFrame, plus additionally I am taking properties of KeyListener interface, so I can handle events here. So this is how I am achieving multiple inheritance here using one class and one interface. So both the properties will be taken into my single class, which is key demo, and the multiple inheritance is done here. So using interface we can do multiple inheritance, that we have already seen in previous practicals. Next I am creating one object of JLabel because I want to display the message on the screen. So for that purpose I need a label. So I am creating swing label, which is JLabel, and the object name is JL. So this is the declaration of this JLabel object. Next I am defining my constructor as key demo. In that I am initializing the object using new keyword. So JL is equal to new JLabel, and initially I am not passing anything inside the bracket, that means this JLabel is empty initially. Next I am adding that JLabel into the JFrame window. So using this add function I am passing this JL object inside it. So automatically it will be added to JFrame, and there is no layout set here. So what it will happen, the JLabel will be added to default layout manager, which is present for JFrame, and that is border layout. So that will be added to border layout, and that will be added to the center region of border layout. So it will be displayed at the center position, but there is no left or there is no waste region, so that's why it will be added to the left side also. So this is how the JLabel will be displayed. Then I am adding this function which is called add key listener. Why this function is used? Because I want to check whether any key event is happening inside my JFrame window. So for that purpose we have a key event listener, so that is add key listener function is there, and in that bracket I am passing this, which will be the class of which will be the object of current class. So I am checking this key listening process on key demo class, so that's why this object is passed here, and this function is responsible for checking the events, whether you are handling any keyboard event or you are pressing any key on the keyboard, that will be checked using this function. And as soon as you press any key on the keyboard or do some keyboard input, this function will do the rest part, that will be handled by key listener interface. So just setting the title, setting size, making visible, and setting the close operation, exit on close, so that you can close the JFrame window on this close button. So this is how the constructor is complete. Next I am creating the functions which are inside key listener interface. So why I am defining these functions? Because whenever we are implementing any interface inside our program or inside any class, it is compulsory that we have to define those functions which are present inside the interface. So that's why we have to define all the functions which are present inside this key listener interface, and there are three functions associated with this key listener interface. The first function is public void key type. So this function is responsible whenever we are typing any key on the keyboard. So this function will be called whenever you are typing any key on the keyboard, and in the bracket we have to pass an object of key event class, that is E. So automatically the key event will be generated and that event object will be copied to E object. So this is how you can do some coding inside this function. So as mentioned in the question, we have to just check whether the key is pressed. So that's why I am not writing anything here. So key typed function will be blank, but we have to define it. Otherwise it will give an compile time error, because we are not implementing the key listener interface function, then it will give compile time error. So that's why we have to define all the functions which are present inside that interface. Second function is public void key pressed. So whenever you press any key on the keyboard, this function will be called. Again in bracket we have to pass the object of key event class. Then in that function I am using setText function on the JLabel object which we have created earlier, and in that text I am passing key pressed message. So automatically whenever you are pressing key on the keyboard, this function will be called and it will set the message as key pressed on this JLabel. So it will display the key pressed in front of the user in your frame window. So this is how the second function is complete. And the third function is public void key release. So if you are holding any key on the keyboard and if you are releasing that key afterwards, then this function will be called. Again it is having key event class object as a parameter, and again I am putting this function as a blank function because I don't want to do any coding here. But I have defined all the functions, though I have kept those functions blank, but they are defined here. So all the functions are defined now which are inside key listener interface. Next we have to define our main function. So public static void main string args. In that function I am just creating one object of my class which is key demo. So key demo kd is equal to new key demo, and calling the default constructors, automatically this coding will run and it will display the output accordingly. So the coding is complete here. Saving the code. To run this code I have to go to the location. So this is the location. So first I am opening CMD here. So after opening CMD, first command is java c space classname dot java. So there is no error. So next command is java space classname only. So after running, the frame window is opened here and nothing is visible because initially our JLabel object is blank. So as soon as I press any key on the keyboard, it will be displaying the output. So I have pressed the key, so it has displayed key pressed message here. So it is displaying the key pressed message at the center location, but the waste region is empty, so that's why it has moved to the left side of the window portion. So this is how the output is generated now, and it is displaying the key pressed message. So anything you do on the keyboard, it will display the key pressed message because you are pressing any key on the keyboard. So this is how we can handle key event which is inside JFrame, and for that purpose we have used the JFrame as well as key listener interface so that you can use key events here. and there are multiple interfaces available according to multiple events, so that we will see one by one in later practicals. So this is how the first question of this practical is completed. Now the next question is, write a program to demonstrate the use of mouse dragged and mouse moved method of MouseMotionListener. So this is the interface we have regarding mouse event. So there are two interfaces available inside mouse event. So one interface is MouseListener interface, that will be checking whether the mouse is clicked, mouse is released, and a click count. All these functions will be related inside that MouseListener interface. And the second interface is MouseMotionListener. So it will be basically dealing with the mouse movement, that is mouse moved or mouse dragged. So these are the events that will be happening inside this MouseMotionListener interface. So again we have to do the similar coding that we have seen in the first question. In the first question we have seen key event, we have handled key event, that is whenever we are pressing any key on the keyboard we have generated a message. So similarly in the second question we have to generate the same message, and that will be handled according to MouseMotionListener interface functions. So directly moving toward the code. So initially we have to import the Java x.swing package, because I am going to use JFrame, JLabel, all these classes are inside swing package. So for that purpose it is imported. Second, I am importing java.awt.event package. So again, as we have seen in the previous question, we are dealing with events here. So for that purpose we need this package java.awt.event. Next I am creating my definition, which is class definition, public class motion demo. So this is the class name. Then extends JFrame. So it is taking properties of JFrame class, as well as it is taking properties of MouseMotionListener interface. So for that purpose I have implemented it as a implements keyword, and MouseMotionListener interface is added after that. So I am taking multiple inheritance here. So motion demo class will be having properties of JFrame, as well as it can handle events using this MouseMotionListener interface. Next, inside the class I am creating one object of JLabel, which is JLabel space JL. So this is the object, and this object will be displaying the output. So as we have seen in previous question, we are creating a label to display our output string. Next I am creating my constructor motion demo. In that I am initializing the JLabel object and keeping it blank initially. Next I am adding that JLabel into JFrame using add function, as we have seen in previous question. So the same method is applied here. Next, as we are dealing with events here, which is mouse event, so for that purpose we have to use this function, which is add MouseMotionListener. So whenever you are doing any event using mouse inside your JFrame window, this function will be checking whether the event is happening, and the type of event will be checked here. And in that bracket again I am passing this object, which is the object of current class. Next, the remaining coding is same, which is setting the size of the frame, then setting the title, making visible using setVisible function, and finally set default close operation, exit on close is done here. So the remaining coding is same as we have seen in previous question. Next, the constructor is complete. Next, as we have seen in previous question, we are implementing one interface here. So we have to compulsory define the methods which are present inside this interface. So there are two methods inside this interface. First method is public void mouse dragged. So what is mouse dragging method? Whenever you are clicking the mouse, holding that click and moving your mouse, then releasing the click, that will be called mouse dragging event. So this is how mouse dragged method will be called in that case. So again we have to pass mouse event object in the bracket as a parameter, which will be E. So whenever you are doing the event event object will be copied to E parameter object, and using that E you can do multiple actions. So in that function what I am doing, I am setting the text to the JLabel object, which is JL, and in that I am passing string as a mouse drag. So if I am dragging the mouse inside my frame window, it will display me mouse dragged message using this JLabel object. So first method is complete here. Second method is public void mouse moved. So whenever I am moving mouse inside my frame window, so it will automatically call this method, and inside that method I am setting jl.setText message as mouse moved. So I am setting two messages here. Mouse dragged will be called whenever I am dragging the mouse, and mouse moved will be called whenever I am just simply moving the mouse pointer inside frame window, and accordingly the messages will be displayed on JLabel object. So both the methods are complete. Next I am creating main function, which is public static void main string args. In that I am creating object of my class, which is motion demo. MD is equal to new motion demo. Automatically it will call the constructor and the coding will run accordingly, and you can see the output on the J label. So the coding is complete here. So to run this program I am going to the location. So first opening CMD here, and after that first command is java c space classname dot java. So after entering no error means program is compiled successfully. Next I am adding java space classname only. So the frame window is opened here, but there is nothing displaying, or the label is initially blank, but the output is not displaying even if I am moving the mouse. Why it is not displaying? Because we are setting, or we are checking the mouse movement inside JFrame. So as soon as I move my mouse pointer inside this JFrame window, it will call the according functions. So I am moving the pointer now inside. So you can see mouse moved message is displayed here because my mouse is now moving inside the JFrame window. So this is how the output is generated, which is related to mouse moved function. So now I am dragging the mouse pointer holding the click. So if I am dragging the mouse, it is showing me the mouse dragged message because I have dragged the mouse. So this is how we have called both the functions inside MouseMotionListener interface, and both the functions are working. They are displaying their respective output according to our coding. Whether I am moving the mouse or dragging the mouse, it is changing the label accordingly, and this is how you can handle mouse motion event. So this is how this practical is complete, and also this practical number 20 is complete, which was regarding key event and mouse event. We have handled key event in the first question. In that we have checked whether key is pressed and displayed the message accordingly, and in the second question we have checked whether mouse is moving or mouse is dragging using this MouseMotionListener interface, and the practical is complete now. So that's it for today's practical. I hope you understand the program clearly. If you found this video useful, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel for more such programming solutions, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a new video. If you have any doubts or need solutions for other programs, drop a comment below. I will be happy to help. Thanks for watching and happy coding.